Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery here. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning, January 3rd, 2023. It's our pleasure to get together with our distribution partners on a daily basis. Most weekdays, we get together to talk about strategies, tips, techniques, and support each of you. We'll start out with a topic, and then we'll open it up to rather open forum, if you will. So anything that you need to know to be successful, you can type into the Q&A, which is kind of like a chat box in Zoom. I first want to bring your attention to the last two trainings that we've had that are on our YouTube channel. And I think it's really important, especially if you're a white label partner. Well, let me back up. So we have affiliates and white label partners. Affiliates, simple and easy. We give them a free website. Costs nothing to become an affiliate. They drive people to their website, their landing page, and get paid. White label partners, more involved, 50-50 revenue split, and white label partners obviously need to know more because they do more. With that being said, we've had two recent trainings that, especially if you're a white label partner, that's why I digressed, it's really important that you take the time to view those. On Friday of last week, which would have been the 30th, we talked about how to some strategies to resolve when you have a client that doesn't pay as agreed. And frankly, it's the same process we go through when we have clients that don't pay us or white label partners that breach. So if you've not viewed that training this past Friday, I think it's very helpful for you to go see that, and you can find that on our YouTube channel. Secondly, yesterday on Monday, which would have been January 2nd, we announced our goal, our initiative, our priority for the upcoming year, and that is to have 100% client satisfaction and 100% distribution partner satisfaction. So we went through how we go about what our mindset is and how we wish to accomplish that. So if you've not had a chance to watch those two YouTube trainings, they're the Zoom trainings that we converted into YouTube, put up on our YouTube channel. If you go back one more day, we actually gave you an overview of our YouTube channel and how to access the library. But just wanted to bring attention to that because it's so important that we're on the same page. We want clients to be 100% satisfied, but we have to approach it properly. And that's what we discussed yesterday. And then on Friday of last week, we talked about what happens when we can't resolve it and how to progress through. Now, today, we're looking at one of our landing pages. And so if you're an affiliate, you get a free landing page that looks just like this. If you're a white label partner and you want a landing page that looks like this, but it would be customized to you, let us know. So it would have your logo on it if you're a white label partner. This box here is important because it looks just like a few fields, but actually it's linked somewhere else. So it's in our case, it feeds into our CRM, our database, so it can register where the lead came from and initiate a sequence to implement the client. If you're a white label partner, this could look the same, or we can change it up if you want it changed, but it would link to your system. As an affiliate, it links to our system. As an affiliate, you will get a unique link. So as an affiliate, you would not send them to guaranteedfunding.org. You wouldn't do that. That would create what we would call an orphaned client. In other words, they're not linked to you, they're just linked to us. So instead, what happens, you become an affiliate for free. We provide you a page that looks just like this. The URL would be customized to you. And then what happens is in this box, it links to you. So all of our affiliates are taking our standard, what we call access to capital program out to the marketplace. If you're a white label partner, this would link to your terms and conditions. So let's dig into that a little bit. So if you're a white label partner, you are the one that's contracting with the client. You have the client agreement, not us. Now we have an agreement with you. So there's essentially three parties. There's you, and you have two contracts, one with us that has our promises and your promises together. And then separately, you have your agreement with each client that has the promises between you and them. As a white label partner, you completely control the promises or the terms and conditions between you and the client, right? You decide what fees you want to charge, if the deposit's refundable, non-refundable, if you want the performance fee to be high or low, whatever you want it, all the language. So on a white label partner landing page, people would go to it, the prospects would go to it, they'd fill out these four fields, first name, last name, email, phone, hit get started, and then it's going to take them to what we'll call page 2, but page 2 would be specific to you. For us, all of our affiliates will have a page that looks like this, and page 2 is always the same, but by the prospect coming through the landing page of the affiliate, it hard tracks it so we know who to pay. Hopefully that makes sense. When it comes to tying these things together, so yesterday we talked about a focus on 100% client satisfaction. Last Friday we talked about, if you will, dispute resolution. And today we're trying to bring it together some, is that it's so important that everyone understands, and this sounds kind of commonsensical, but everyone needs to know what they've promised to do. So white label partners, before you can sign up a client, you need to take the agreement template that we've provided you. It's in the white label partner Dropbox. You make whatever edits you want, and then you either link it to a landing page like this or send it to the prospect via Adobe or DocuSign and get an e-signature. But that's the language of what you've promised to do. And then, of course, when you become a white label partner or an affiliate, you and I have promises back and forth. The point I'm trying to make is it's important to understand what those promises are. Because as we talked about 100% satisfaction yesterday, there's nothing that's going to get us off track quicker of where we're not seeing 100% satisfaction, where we don't have a satisfied client or we don't have a satisfied distribution partner, is if one party is asking for something that's outside of the agreement because the other party hasn't agreed to do so. So that's so important. Now, the other point of this, and we added this to the landing pages as a second, well, I don't want to say as an afterthought, but it wasn't on the landing pages originally, but it is now, because it answers the question, and this is so important that you assimilate this, that you understand this, is that just because someone signs up, we have all these promises or our marketing pitches, if you will, right? Guaranteed $100,000, but there's no maximum. We can help you get more than that. Is that true? Absolutely, it's true. All US-based businesses qualify, even if they're pre-formation. Is that true? Absolutely, it's true. Fast funding in less than 7 days. Yeah, of course that's true. No upfront cost, absolutely. No minimum credit score. So these are all true. We have the first tranche of financing. The first tranche, the first round of financing is what we help the client get typically within a week. The amount of first tranche financing that the client receives will vary based upon their credibility. We have some people that qualify for literally over $100,000 of first tranche financing. And we have some people that qualify for much less. Now, we promise everyone at least one offer, so everyone will get at least one funding offer for their first tranche. Maybe as little as $2,500, but at least that's enough for them to pay the refundable deposit for the loan package so we can build their loan package and move them forward to go get funding. But as we talk about client satisfaction, this is the first risk of client dissatisfaction, is when we come back to them with their first tranche of financing and they're like, well, I only got approved for that. I wanted more. So we got to stop and understand, well, sir, ma'am, we didn't adopt you when you turned 18 years old. And I'm being a little sarcastic, forgive me, but we've not managed their affairs. So how credible they are when they first come to us is a reflection of them, not of you, not of me, not of our program. They come to us based upon all the decisions and circumstances in their life prior to. So people that are more credible when they come in, they get more first tranche funding offers, bigger offers. People that are less credible get less. But the important thing is we don't leave anyone behind. Everyone gets at least one offer so we can work with them to move forward. I think that's very admirable. But as we talk about managing client expectations, I've covered 2 points so far. The first of which is we need to know what the agreements say. We need, you and me, we need to follow our commitments and promises. And then we ask the other party to do the same. And then the second point that we've covered so far is that on the first tranche of financing, how much they qualify for is a reflection of them, not of you, not of me, not of the program, because we've not done our work yet. We're just trying to get them at least enough financing to cover the refundable deposit so we can build their loan package and move after the bigger capital. That's so important that you understand that. So how do you implement that, or how do you take action on what I just said? Well, for clients, don't paint some unrealistic expectation that their first tranche of financing is going to be $100,000. It might be, but it's a reflection of them, not of you, not of me, because we've not done the work yet. We've not built out the loan package. That's how they're coming to us. So I would downplay it, right? I'd say, well, Andrea, thank you so much for enrolling. We're going to first work on your first tranche, first round of financing. That normally should only take a few days. The amount that you're going to receive will be based upon your credibility. There'll be no hard inquiries. And what we'll do is we'll get you at least enough to cover the refundable deposit. Andrea, do you remember what the deposit's for? Well, it's to build your loan package. It's a refundable deposit to put together the documents that are needed to go after the large funding. So this is just an interim step, so you don't have to pay for the loan package, that refundable deposit, out of pocket. So if you explain to the individual, now, if you're an affiliate, you really aren't talking to them. Most likely you're just driving them to your landing page, which is here. But if you're a white label partner and you want to do everything that you can to manage client expectations, it is first to make sure everyone's on the same page with the written words, the agreement. We've covered that. And then secondly is don't create unrealistic expectations of what they're going to get for their first tranche, because they're going to get whatever they qualify for. I was talking to a client yesterday, and I love working with people, but it's amazing how people will just take their prior education or lack thereof and experiences and just morph things into unrealistic expectations. So this client I was talking to yesterday, and just some of the things that he was saying wasn't true. So I spent like 30 minutes trying to correct him, very respectfully, of course, that he was just making up things that's not what we promised. And he wasn't upset, so this wasn't like a dispute, but he was just creating false reality faster than it's like one of those baseball pitching machines. Before I could get the bat back again, it was throwing another baseball, fastball at me. So if we follow agreements, then we're on common terms. And then to have good client satisfaction, we need to understand that the first tranche of financing is going to be based upon their credibility. They may get a term loan, line of credit. Maybe they only get the 0% financing for the refundable deposit. Will they have payments on the first tranche? I know that sounds ludicrous, but some people are like freaking surprised. Wait, I have payments? I have payments? No one said I had payments. To me, that's mayhem, right? Because these folks are coming to you and I collectively wanting large payments, right? They're coming to you and I wanting lots and lots of debt. Well, what does debt mean? Debt means that you promise to pay it back. Now, the terms and conditions, the interest rates, the cost, all that cost of capital can all vary. It should all be laid out. But it's bizarre to me when people come into the program and they're like, oh shit, I have to pay payments? Well, yeah, you have to pay back whatever you borrowed or have on a line of credit you pulled from, or if it's business credit cards or even just the extension of credit for the refundable deposit. Sure, that's what debt is. So That's what we talked about yesterday, the 27 mistakes. If you care to educate your clients before they get to us, that would help. But if not, that's okay. We will educate them with the 27 mistakes from yesterday. The third and final point I want to make, and then we'll open it up for questions and comments, kind of open forum, is that this graphic helps explain accurately how it is we help get capital for businesses. So often, even this morning, one of the smartest white label partners that we have, I had a conversation and she was a bit heated this morning. My client hasn't gotten funded. My client hasn't gotten funded. My client hasn't gotten funded. Well, why is that? Why has the client not gotten funded? It's not just because the client signs up and demands funding. So let's talk about our process and talk about what's necessary to get funding beyond that first tranche. All right, so we can see that there's 3 inputs here into the model. Financial literacy. We have an award-winning financial literacy curriculum that is available to clients. Now it's available on demand. They don't have to stretch it out over 28 days, over 4 weeks. They can go through it if they want. They don't have to go through it if they don't want. But if you're a white label partner and you're not taking them through this curriculum, you're less likely to have satisfied clients. So that's a decision you're making, right? Because the curriculum is helpful in helping these people understand what it takes to be credible to get funding. And I'm kind of giving you a hint of what we're getting to. What does it take to get funding? You got to be credible enough based on the underwriting criteria of the given source of capital. So first is financial literacy. I know that most small business owners don't care about becoming financially literate. They just want the results. But if you're a white label partner, you've got to make a conscious decision. Are you going to encourage them, prompt them, support them, mentor them into becoming more knowledgeable, or are you going to just skip it? That's your call. But if you want high client satisfaction, you're gambling if you don't build their financial literacy first, because a lot of them don't know how all this works, and they start making false assumptions. Like, where's my money? Where's my money? Where's my money? Well, do you even know what it means to be ready for a capital raise? A lot of these folks don't, and that's why we educate them. Input number 2 is we build their loan package. The loan package is, as it states here, the documentation needed for loan approval. So everything from the business plan to financial projections, the personal financial statement, support documents, and other. So the way that we do this is as soon as the client is implemented now, and I know this has changed, not a recent change, but I'm describing to you how things work now. It might have been different before, or was different before, but when the client signs up, we send them the Building Your Loan Package Adobe. It's 2 pages. Page 2 actually plugs them in, ironically, to the curriculum. And page 1 talks about building the loan package. And it has a list of about a dozen items. And it says it's not all or nothing. We don't know what each client has, but we're asking the client to pull together what they do have so they can submit it. We'll get them a Dropbox and they'll submit it to us, or if you're a white label partner, it can go through your Dropbox. But the bottom line is we need to get our arms around where they're at now, figure out where we should go for funding based upon their mitigating circumstances, and any help they need in strengthening their package, then we can step in and help them. So when it comes to managing client satisfaction, what's the lesson learned so far on this graphic? The first lesson was, if you skip the financial, especially if you're a white label partner, if you skip the financial literacy with your clients, they're less likely to be satisfied because they're more likely to make false assumptions of how to get credible enough for funding because they don't know what they don't know. But that's your choice, isn't it? The second is risk of dissatisfaction is the client looks at that list and says, well, I don't have all of that. Well, my God, man, that's why exactly we say on there. We even highlighted on the damn Adobe, hey, it's not all or nothing. We don't know what you have. We're just asking you to submit what you do have so we can review it, and create a plan going forward, and then we'll supplement. So it asks for their business plan. So someone that is not very sharp would say, well, damn it, I thought we were building their business plan. This is a scam. we will help them build their business plan, but we don't know if they have one or not until we ask, right? So that's why the list is there. It's like, well, what if they don't have a PFS, Tom? This isn't going to work. This is a scam. Well, no, if they don't have a business plan or a PFS, we're going to help them with those things. But we don't know what they have or don't have until we ask and they do the data upload. Makes sense? So as a white label partner, it is your responsibility to work with them on uploading these documents. And you can, again, have them upload into your Dropbox and then let us know, or we can create a separate Dropbox for them. If you're a white label partner, you can start to see you need to be involved with these steps. Now, if you're just an affiliate, this is what's going on behind the scenes, but you have no responsibility for implementation. Then our third input is credibility building. So again, the client that shakes his or her hands and jumps up and down and says, where's my funding? Where's my funding? Where's my funding? Well, of course, we want the client to get funded. That's what we promised to do. But before that, what needs to happen? Ideally, they've gone through the curriculum, not required. We definitely need to get the documents that they have uploaded so we can review it and create a funding plan. And here's the point, and determine, are they credible enough for the type of funding and the amount of funding that they're looking for? Some will be, right? Andrea knows. Andrea's on here right now. I see her on the Zoom. She's got a client, Patsy, and Patsy's in the process of getting about $300,000 for her first tranche of financing this month, in the month of January. Right? The offers have been extended. Now everything's being put together. So some people are credible enough when they come into the system that they can quickly go to funding. That is awesome. Some people aren't. Does that make the people that aren't bad? No. Should we filter out the people that aren't ready yet? No, absolutely not. We take people from where they are and help them go from where they are to where they need to be. So we understand, and this is what you and I learned in grade school, but the truth is some entrepreneurs don't know the 3 C's, right? Credit, capacity, collateral. There's technically 5 C's, but we're just going to focus on the 3 C's here. So how is their business credit? Excuse me. If it's not strong, we're going to help them improve it. Does it cost anything? No, it's part of the Access to Capital program. We'll help them strengthen their business credit. And that's actually part of module 2. But, oh, wait, you can see now. So if you're one of those, and I'm not throwing stones, but if you're one of those white label partners that skips the financial literacy, then they didn't learn about business credit. They didn't learn about the action steps because you skipped it. So you're kind of you're shorting the client, if you're a white label partner, by skipping the financial literacy as is shown here. But again, you're an adult, you're the CEO of your business. If you want to skip this, you can. But the point is, credit has 2 types, personal and business, and we can help them strengthen both. The second C, and again, I know I'm like preaching to the choir. You all probably dream about the 3 C's. I know I do. But the bottom line is many entrepreneurs don't know this. And so if you just look at everyone through your lenses, you're smart, you're successful, most of you are wealthy, and it's inconsistent with where most people are. We need to meet them where they're at. So capacity is the second of the 3 C's, and that could be also called cash flow. So sometimes we'll have clients come to us and they're freaking insolvent. They don't have any money. I was working with a client this morning, and his total liquidity is $200. Total, $200. And so we've got a little bit of a rub there, right? So here's a man that wants to go borrow a lot of money, and he's pretty much insolvent. Well, does that keep him from getting funded? Truthfully, no. There's different sources of capital, and the truth is some of them don't even look at capacity, or it's just self-reported. But in general, what you and I are trying to do is make people credible on paper. They're credible as people, of course, but we want to make them credible on paper. And that happens by building the 3 C's, and capacity is another. So just like with credit, if credit is weak for a client, personal or business, can we help them improve credit? Absolutely. If their capacity, otherwise cash flow, is weak, can we help them? Absolutely. And then thirdly, we get down to collateral. if they don't have assets to pledge to the lender for the amount of capital they're looking for, then that is a disadvantage. They don't look as credible. And can we help them with that? Of course. So sometimes I'll get white label partners that kind of get wired up. It's like, why are you guys trying to do this? What the fuck are you thinking when you're trying to help build people's credibility? They just came to us for funding. Think about that for a second. The client just came for funding. They're not credible enough yet for funding, and we're trying to help them become credible enough for funding. Is that admirable or is that negative? Is that mean? It's exactly what you and I do, because that's how we get money coming out of the funnel. Is we become financially literate, preferably. We build a loan package and we become credible enough to get approved. We have to stop this immature approach that some people have of, oh, I signed up and I didn't get funded yet. This is a fucking scam. Well, no. Are we doing what we promised to do? And if you're a white label partner, are you doing your part? We need to help them, or at least offer to help them build their financial literacy. Otherwise, they don't even know what the problems may be. We need to help them build a loan package. We need to help them become credible. If we do these three things, we can guarantee a minimum of 100,000. Could be a lot more. But if they don't have a package, they're not credible, and to a lesser extent, if they don't know what the hell we're doing, they're at a strong disadvantage. So let me open it up for your questions, comments, concerns. And just go ahead and type them into the Q&A. It's like a chat, a Zoom. So if there's ever something that a client suggests that you or us, you and I are on the same team, right? Regardless if you're an affiliate or a white label partner. But if a client ever comes back and says, well, you guys, just in general, you and me, didn't do what you promised to do, we need to stop and say, I am sorry, Craig, that you feel that way. I'm sorry that you feel that way. Can you let me know, Craig, I'm using an example, specifically what you feel that we're not doing that we promised to do? And so often when you confront someone very politely with that, they're usually either erratic. Well, you didn't give me a prostate massage. Well, Craig, we didn't promise a prostate massage. That's not what we do, right? But people will just come up with crazy ass stuff, or they're just unplugged. This is the model. If you can understand this model, which is not very complicated, this is what makes it work. But this is what makes it work. So you could have a client that signs up, and let's say they skip the financial literacy. They don't give us any documents, so we can't build their loan package. They're not engaged in becoming more credible, and time could go on. It's literally possible that time could go on for 1,000,000 years and someone would never get funded. That's scary for me to say. Wait, it could take 1,000,000 years till someone gets funded? It could, right? Because what accelerates that? What would make it take less than 1,000,000 years? Well, ideally, they'd go through the financial literacy, not required, but helpful. They definitely need to be engaged in submitting the documents that they do have so we can see where they're at and build out a good loan package. And they need to be credible enough. Now, different sources of capital have different underwriting criteria. So do all of them look at credit? No. Do all of them look at capacity? No, and some are frankly self-reported. Do all of them require collateral? No. Some require one of the three, some two of the three, some all three. We don't know when the client first signs up until we get their loan package and start looking at their data of where their credibility lies to determine what next steps are. But I think the biggest mistake that any of us can make, or let a client, or in our case, sometimes a white label partner, bully us, is to say that you or we are not doing what we promised to do. Because it's like, well, wait a second. What specifically did we promise to do that we're not doing? And often they can't articulate it, or it'll be a very general statement. Well, I haven't gotten funded. Well, Craig, I'm sorry that you've not gotten funded. Let's figure out where you're at. So, and we schedule weekly calls with clients, right? So if you're a white label partner, you're probably the primary interface. Maybe not, maybe you've delegated that to us. For clients that are direct with us, we're working with them. And so we just calm down and we say, okay, let's take a look at where we're at. Right now, we just added, well, I shouldn't say right now, recently, we just added a new lender that is aggressive. It's a nonprofit group, so it's not a national bank. They operate in most states, not all states, but most states, and they're taking deals that couldn't get done otherwise. So I don't want to label them as a subprime lender because I don't think that's what they are, but you could call them a second chance lender. We're able to get deals done. We got Bernard on the line here. He's got 4 or 5 clients that have been pent up because they didn't qualify for anything else. I bet all 5 of those will get funded this month, or at least get approvals for funding this month from this new lender. So as long as clients are engaged, we can help them and get to that end result. All right, so Francette asked a good question. What happens if the client needs help building credibility, but they don't have the money to pay for it? And that can certainly happen. That is a very relevant point. So what we do is we can help them with capacity. So we talked about the 3 C's. So if a client comes to the table and they have inadequate credit, can we help them build business and personal? Absolutely. If they have, we'll come back to capacity. If they have inadequate collateral, can we help them with that? Absolutely. What if they have just an absence of capacity? Should we have turned them away? Should we have filtered them out? No, we can help them. And that's what we have the opportunity fund for. So we can help with all 3 of the C's. That's really the secret sauce of what you and I do collectively, is in addition to having a holistic model with guaranteed results, is we help people get from where they're at to where they need to be to get approved. This one client that I made reference to yesterday that we did submit for funding at the end of the day yesterday, because it appeared that he's ready. We're not the underwriters, right? We're not the lenders. We're not the bank. We're the technical advisors. So we did submit him, and I think he'll get approved. Maybe not for the full amount he wants, but at least for an interim amount that's helpful. But you know, he was just saying, well, Tom, you can make it happen. Well, it's about credibility on paper. It's not about will. It's not about friendship. It's not about a willpower. We need to be credible enough. And so that's what we spend. Some of you will get frustrated. It's like, damn it, Tom, it seems like all we're doing is working with these clients to make them more credible. What the fuck is that? Well, that's exactly what we have to do. That's how you get approved, is being credible enough. Now we need to gather the documents to find out what source of capital is best for their circumstances that frankly has the lowest possible credibility requirements, and they may meet that already, like Patsy did with Andrea. But in other cases, yeah, people are going to need help to get strengthened. So when we talk about we can get funding next day, absolutely. We have an SBA lender right now that we can submit a deal to today, January 3rd, 2023, and get funded tomorrow for an SBA loan. Absolute fact. But you have to meet the credibility standards for that. We have other types of capital for different circumstances. Some of them fund really fast, but you have to meet the criteria. So we don't want to go out and sell people on the concept of, oh, if you sign up today, you'll get a $100,000 SBA loan tomorrow, guaranteed. That's not an honest thing to say. We need to gather their documents to figure out what source or sources of capital is best for them and help them improve any documentation deficiencies that they have and make sure that they're credible enough. That's what's honorable. So the short answer to Francette's simple question is, if they have a shortfall of cash flow, we can help them with capacity through the Opportunity Fund. And you'll find that pretty frequently, so that's not a problem. Excuse me. The next question is, what if they've never received a tranche? Well, that would be unusual, so we should certainly visit about that. Our model is to get the first tranche very, very quickly to cover their refundable deposit. And we have 100% funding approval on that because there's different sources of capital, and we can get at least the 0% financing instrument for the refundable deposit. So if you have any clients that have not even gotten their first tranche, we need to know about that because we can resolve that. It's probably a misunderstanding or miscommunication, but we can resolve that. There's never a reason that a client wouldn't get at least their first tranche within just days of enrolling. All right, Pierre is an affiliate and he's rocking and rolling. He has had 115 views on his landing page that looks just like this. That is awesome. He's logging into the back end. And so, yeah, and then as people become a conversion. So as an affiliate, what is a conversion? An affiliate drives people to their landing page, has them fill this out, they enroll, and then we get them their first tranche of financing, and that's what triggers the conversion to the affiliate, the payout to the conversion payout. So Pierre, if you see a difference between the 115 views and number of commissions that you're receiving, the discrepancy isn't a mistake. It's that those people have not yet either signed up and or paid their refundable deposit, not out of pocket, but from their first tranche of financing, first round. All right, Paulie has a client that needs to open up an additional store. Well, great, yeah. So the process is the same. We have one, and I'll close on this. We had one referral partner yesterday, I think it was. It was just, and people are great, so I'm not complaining, but was texting with an email, texting in scenario one, scenario two. I've got a client wants to do this. I got a client wants to do that. It frankly doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the client wants to do. The process is the same. Get them to your landing page, have them enroll. Then we're going to plug them into the financial literacy curriculum. Then we're going to help them build their loan package. And then we'll review that, see if they're credible enough to go to funding. If so, bam, we're off to funding. And if not, we'll help them build their credibility. Alfred's asking about the other C's, and I don't want to distract too much, but I will give you the fourth C just for conversation because it ties to what we're discussing. The fourth C is credibility. And so that is often overlooked. And when we have some partners, well, I shouldn't say partners, some clients, that the way they interface with us makes them seem very uncredible. It's like, would we even feel comfortable them talking to a lender? We've got one client, and and I guess it's his culture, but the first thing he'll normally say, and I don't want to say these words because they're offensive, but he's asking for oral sex every time he communicates. 3 words: S your, or S my, D word. And it's like, man, I guess in your world and your culture, that's good communication, but man, we need to dial that in some, right? When you're talking to the underwriter at Wells Fargo, when you're soliciting oral sex from him, that's not going to be good. So sure, there are other elements of building credibility, including character is what I should have said. Fourth is character, but these are the 3 that we primarily focus on. All right, anyone else have questions on the landing page? Free for affiliates. You can get one if you want to be one as a white label partner. It'll be customized to you. Talked about the model. We talked about the selling points. We talked about a reflection on last Friday's training and yesterday's training. We talked about our focus on having 100% satisfied clients. And that starts with all parties understanding and following the agreements. We have some white label partners that sign up and they don't perform, and then we invoice them their license fee, and they're like, what? You ever watch Different Strokes? What you talking about, Willis? Well, yeah, there's a $10,000 license fee to be a white label partner, but we agree to waive that perpetually if you come in and get active. And so then when people come in, they don't get active, then they're like shocked. We don't want anyone to pay the $10,000 license fee, but if you're going to be a white label partner, there's promises. And one of the promises that you'll be at least minimally active. And if you're not, you're in breach, you're in default. Does that mean that, does that suggest that we're mean or vindictive? No, it's just agreements are in writing for a purpose. And that's so both parties have a common understanding of expectations and outcomes. All right, so with that being said, I appreciate your time. We covered a bit of a hodgepodge of materials, but we continuously monitor what we hear from the field, and we want to bring that back to the training to help everyone be more successful. Hopefully this was just that. So we'll see you back tomorrow morning. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.